بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم اقرأ باسم ربك الذي خلق.
Assalamu alaikum and welcome to Iqra, a show designed to help you improve your recitation of the Holy Quran step by step. Alhamdulillah, in this show we have now covered the first two branches of Tajweed. We have looked at makharij al-huruf in some detail, the pronunciation of the letters. We've also looked at sifat al-huruf, the qualities or attributes of the letters as they stand on their own. In the last episode we looked at the two qualities of qalqala and leen. A study of these two qualities completes our understanding of sifat al-huruf, the qualities or attributes of the letters. We will now move on to our final section or final branch of Tajweed, and that is ahkam al-huruf, the rules of the letters when they combine or join with other letters to form words and ayat of the Holy Quran. Before we move on to the ahkam, let's briefly recap the quality of qalqala, which we looked at in the last episode. So qalqala, if you remember, means vibration, echo, resonance. There are certain letters of the Holy Quran or certain letters of the Arabic alphabet which, when they carry a sukoon, need to be pronounced with added added stress or emphasis, which then gives it a vibrating quality. So what are the letters of qalqala? I'm sure you must be remembering them, but just to quickly recap, let's write them on the board. So there are 5 letters of qalqala. They are qaf, ta, ba, jim, and dal. Qaf, ta, ba, jim, and dal. You remember the acronym Qutb Jad. This helps us to remember the 5 letters of qalqala. Qaf, ta, ba, jim, and dal. Qutb Jad. Good. I'm sure at home you've been practicing and listening to the recitation of the Holy Quran and trying to improve the application of qalqala. So for example, Surah Alaq, Surah Ikhlas or Tawheed, Surah Falaq, Surah Lahab. These are all surahs which are excellent for practicing application of the quality of qalqala. So let's listen to the first 7 ayat of Surah Alaq, just so that we can recap and do a little bit more practice for applying this quality. Listen to the Qari and try and recite along with him so that you can improve your own recitation, inshallah.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم اقرأ باسم ربك الذي خلق خلق الإنسان من علق اقرأ وربك الأكرم الذي علم بالقلم علم الإنسان ما لم يعلم كلا إن الإنسان ليطغى أن رآه استغنى.
Good, excellent. So that was Surah Alaq. Surah Alaq is a very good surah to practice the qalqala of the letter qaf. Qaf and ta, as we said, are a little bit more tricky to give the qalqala to because they have a slightly more challenging makharij as well. So to make sure that we give the correct makharij for the qaf and the ta as well as the qalqala at the same time is a bit of a challenge, but inshallah with practice and with enough effort, I'm sure we can get it right, inshallah. So that was qalqala. We now move on to our final branch of Tajweed, which is the ahkam al-huruf, the rules of the letters when they join together with other letters to form words and ayat of the Holy Quran. Now if you remember when we were discussing the qualities of the letters, we mentioned that all the 28 letters of the Arabic alphabet are divided into one of 2 groups. Either they are letters of isti'la, the heavy letters, or they are letters of istifal, the light letters. However, we said there are two exceptions to this rule. There are two letters which are neither included as letters of isti'la nor as letters of istifal. And these two exceptions are the lam and the ra. The lam and the ra are slightly fickle letters. They change and vary. Sometimes they are light and sometimes they are heavy, depending on their situation. So they have their own rules, and we will now be discussing the rules of lam and ra as we discuss ahkam al-huruf. Today we will begin with the rules of lam. Now, the good thing about lam is that it is almost always pronounced lightly. So usually, whenever we see a word with the letter lam, it will be mostly pronounced lightly. So the lam is usually always light. So the lam is pronounced with an empty mouth and a soft, sweet quality. So lam is usually light. So for example, we have various words in the Quran with the letter lam. Let's just mention a few of them. We have lisan, layl, lawn, la, ila, ala, ilah. We have laysa. We have luqman. Lots of words with the letter lam. In all these words, I'm sure you could hear the light, soft and sweet quality of the lam. So when is the lam heavy? We have one case where the lam can be either heavy or light. It varies. And that is when we have the word Allah. Allah, the lam in Allah can be pronounced either heavily or lightly. Now, how do we know when to pronounce the lam in Allah heavy, and when do we pronounce the lam in Allah lightly? How do we know? Basically, all we have to do is look at the letter that precedes the lam in Allah and the vowel that that letter carries. So, if the vowel preceding the lam in Allah is a fatha or a dhamma, the lam in Allah will be pronounced heavily. Let me repeat that. So when the vowel that precedes the lam in Allah is either fatha or dhamma, then Allah will be pronounced heavily. Let's look at an example. For example, Surah Ikhlas again. If you look at Surah Tawheed, the first verse, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. قُلْ هُوَ اللَّهُ أَحَدٌ. We have قُلْ هُوَ اللَّهُ أَحَدٌ. So, the waw that precedes Allah has a fatha. So here we have قُلْ هُوَ اللَّهُ أَحَدٌ. The waw that precedes the lam in Allah has a fatha. It carries a fatha. So therefore the Allah, the lam in Allah will be pronounced heavily. قُلْ هُوَ اللَّهُ أَحَدٌ. I'm sure you could hear the heaviness of the lam coming through. قُلْ هُوَ اللَّهُ أَحَدٌ. The heavy lam is called lam tafkhim. Lam tafkhim refers to the lam when it is pronounced heavily. Sorry. So, قُلْ هُوَ اللَّهُ أَحَدٌ. If we look at ayah 29 of Surah Al-Fath, we have Muhammadur Rasulullah. So here we have Muhammadur Rasulullah. The lam that precedes the lam in Allah carries a dhamma. The lam preceding the lam in Allah carries a dhamma. So therefore, I will pronounce Allah with a heavy full mouth. Muhammadur Rasulullah. Okay? So, in both cases, the lam in Allah was heavy because of the fatha or the dhamma that preceded the lam in Allah. Now, naturally, that means that when Allah is preceded by a kasra, when the lam in Allah is preceded by kasra, the lam will be light. So when the lam in Allah is preceded by a kasra, the lam will be pronounced lightly. For example, if we look at when we start the Holy Quran, we seek protection in Allah from shaitan. So we start with أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. Here the Allah is preceded by a ba with kasra. So because of the kasra, Allah will be pronounced lightly. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. Then we say Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, in the name of Allah, the kind, the merciful. Because of Bismillah, again the kasra before Allah will make the lam light. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Again, my mouth is empty, the sound is light, because the lam here again is determined, the nature of the lam is determined by the vowel that precedes it. The kasra makes it light. Light lam is called lam tarqiq. So we have the heavy lam, which is lam tafkhim, and we have the light lam, which is lam tarqiq. This only applies to when we have the word Allah. When we have the word Allah, this is the only time when lam can either be heavy or light. In every other word in the Holy Quran, lam is always light. Lam is tarqiq. Okay? So, this is the rule of lam. Lam is always light except when we have Allah. When we have Allah, if there is fatha or dhamma before the lam in Allah, Allah will be pronounced with a full mouth, heavily. If the letter or the vowel before the lam in Allah is a kasra, the lam in Allah will be pronounced lightly. Let's look at examples of verses from the Holy Quran, inshallah. Let's look at Surah Tawheed. The first 2 verses of Surah Tawheed. Let's listen to the Qari and recite along with him.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قل هو الله أحد الله الصمد.
Now let's listen to Surah Al-Fatiha, Ayah 1. The first ayah of Surah Al-Fatiha, let's listen to the pronunciation of the lam in Allah and see whether it is light or heavy and why.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين.
Good. Now we move on to Surah Al-Baqarah, verses 7 to 9. Again, remember the kasra before Allah denotes lam tarqiq, light lam. The fatha or dhamma before the lam in Allah denotes lam tafkhim, heavy ra.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ختم الله على قلوبهم وعلى سمعهم وعلى أبصارهم غشاوة ولهم عذاب عظيم ومن الناس من يقول آمنا بالله وباليوم الآخر وما هم بمؤمنين يخادعون الله والذين آمنوا وما يخدعون إلا أنفسهم وما يشعرون.
Well done. So, this is the rule of lam. It's very simple. Lam is always light except in the case of Allah, during which if it is preceded by fatha or dhamma, it is heavy. If it's preceded by kasra, it is light. Okay, we have now looked at the rules of lam. In the next episode, we will be discussing the rules of ra. The rules of ra are very interesting because there are lots of rules for ra, and it's a bit complicated, but inshallah we'll go through it step by step. Just by way of introduction, ra, when it is pronounced heavily, is called ra tafkhim. This is when I pronounce the ra with a full mouth. The tongue is curved, it's not flat, and the front of the tongue is placed close to the roof of the mouth. So the front of the tongue is close to the roof of the mouth, the tongue is curved, the mouth is full of air, and we have the heavy ra. For example, we have rayba, we have yarham, we have ra'uf, we have rasool. All these words have a heavy ra. I'm sure you could hear the heaviness of the ra coming through in these words. We also have light ra. Now the light ra is pronounced with an empty mouth, and the tip of the tongue is placed close to the front incisors. So just behind the front incisors, we have the tip of the tongue and an empty mouth, flat tongue, to give the light quality to the ra. The light ra is called ra tarqiq. So we have ra tafkhim, the heavy ra. We also have ra tarqiq, the light ra. Let's look at a few examples. We have risala, we have ridwan, we have rih, nadir, qadir, haqir, we have riyah, we have yasir. Lots of words with a light ra, pronounced with an empty mouth, flat tongue, and the tip of the tongue behind the front incisors. So, the question that I'm sure is arising in your mind is, so when is the ra heavy and when is the ra light? Join me in the next episode of Iqra, where we will discuss the rules of ra. And the ahkam of ra will make it very clear when the ra is pronounced lightly, when it's pronounced heavily. Until next time, inshallah, I hope you will keep on practicing and listening to correct recitation of the Holy Quran to enhance our understanding, our attachment, our engagement, and our love of this holy book. Until next time, I'll leave you to practice and listen as much as possible to the correct and beautiful recitation of the Holy Quran from whatever means you have. And inshallah, in this month of Quran, this holy month where each verse of the Holy Quran is rewarded with the reward of the entire Quran, inshallah, may Allah bless your efforts and all your endeavors to increase your attachment, love, and engagement with this holy book. For now, let us end with a short dua. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Allahumma rzuqna bi kulli harfin min al-Qur'ani halawa, wa bi kulli kalimatin karama, wa bi kulli ayatin sa'ada, wa bi kulli suratin salama, wa bi kulli juz'in jaza, بفضلك وجودك وكرمك يا أرحم الراحمين وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله الطيبين الطاهرين. O Allah, grant us grace through every letter of the Holy Quran, honor through every word, happiness through every ayah, security and peace through every surah, reward through every juz. By your grace, generosity and kindness, O the most merciful of the merciful. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.